Hi, I just want to share with you a reflection that came up for me yesterday as I was reading an article on from Forbes magazine. I was reading it online where the CEO, Jamie Dimon, I think that's how you say his last name, CEO from JP Morgan Chase, was basically sending a message out to our youth, younger generation, Gen Z and Gen Alpha, telling them that basically stop whining and complaining about the future. Be more hopeful and optimistic because you're going to benefit more than the other generations because of technology. And I thought that was quite an interesting message to be sending out to our generation right now. I mean, we know that Generation Z are really worried about their future. They're not having kids because they can't afford it, and they're worried about having jobs that are fulfilling for them, and they've gotten college degrees and aren't able to get jobs that correspond with their years of study. So they rightfully have a lot to be concerned about. But I think that this is a message that all generations need to pay close attention to, because I'm noticing more and more that there are these CEO leaders, um, who are coming out and promoting technology as this type of golden chalice. This is going to be the answer to all of our problems. And, in this article, he's talking about how, they're going to have better jobs and they're going to live longer and, all of this stuff. And it's based on so much of riding off of the future of technology. Now, I am not against technology. I'm not against AI. I understand that there are benefits of technology. One of the benefits that gets promoted often is how technology helps us to do our work quicker or more easily. However, where there's pros, there's also cons. And what I don't hear enough discussion about from these leaders are the cons of technology and AI. And so that's what I want to share with you. I'm not trying to be negative or pessimistic about our future. I think that when we are stepping into new territory, it's so important for us to look at the pros as well as the cons. And a lot of our innovative leaders seem to be rushing headlong into new territory, and they're looking at the cons, and there are people who are sounding the alarm. I'm sorry, they're looking at the pros, and then there are people who are sounding the alarm and pointing out the cons, and they just don't want to hear it. So, just looking at this article today, what came up for me was how we need to be more in our own authority about what the future holds for us and what's good for us, and not let these CEOs tell us how to live our lives and what's going to be good for us. So, I have a few notes here. I may look down as I'm talking, but I hope you stick with me to the end, and hopefully this won't be too long. So, one of the things I noticed that's being sold to us over and over and over again is how technology is going to just liberate us because we can do things faster. Again, time to look more and more at some of the cons and how do we mitigate these cons. That's really the point. Be aware of the cons and then how to mitigate them, how to alleviate if possible, but definitely navigate and reduce the negative effects. So yeah, so back to what I was saying. Leaders just really trying to sell this technology to us as the golden challenge that's going to liberate us and make our lives so much better. And the thing that they're saying the most is faster. So some examples, for people who are generating content and, trying to get their message out, you're going to be able to generate content faster using AI. We're going to be able to communicate faster and be able to communicate remotely. So now we can text, we can not only email, we can text, we can do Messenger, we've got Slack, and we've got Teams, and we've got all these different apps where we can communicate faster. I mentioned, already we can prepare our meals faster. Now they're these type of ovens, really small. They're almost like conventional ovens, but you can put them on your countertop and just pop a meal in. And so you're not getting the microwave radiation, but you are just, getting the heat as if you were preparing a meal on the stove. Be able to retrieve information faster. So now, you can go to ChatGPT. You can go to, some of these other AI applications and, Gemini and so forth, and be able to type in your prompt and get the information that you need right away. And you don't even have to use those applications. I mean, Google now has AI that is integrated into the platform where you can type in a question and get an immediate answer. So, and then what's really being sold to a lot of us, you're going to be able to do your job a lot faster. So everything is about faster, 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 faster. And what's the benefit of being able to do things faster? Well, you can do more things, but supposedly it will free up your time so that you can do the things that you really enjoy and do the things that you love. Doing things faster. Is there a consequence for going faster? In 2022, interestingly, there was this, there was this phrase in the tech industry, coincidentally, go faster and break things. Go faster and break things. And the whole notion was that as you are creating a new iteration or an update of an application or a software program, it's going to run faster, but there's a small risk that it's going to crash the system, or that it's going to malfunction, which causes bugs. And, how do you, measure the risk of going faster and potentially breaking things? What's going to be the impact? And what I kept seeing over and over again was that, these are small risk. So that's the case for technology in terms of the impact on your hardware system or your phone or the app or whatever. But who's asking the question of what are the risk and implications to the human software? And when I say human software, I'm talking about the human brain and even the whole human body, because the nervous system is a whole system that, includes the brain and the nerves and connecting to all of our organs. So we are a whole system. What's the consequence? What's the risk of us going faster with technology and its impact on the human intelligence, the human system? Well, I want to pose a couple of questions to you to reflect on. Do you do these things? I got a few questions here in my notebook, so I'm going to read some of them off to you. Do you email, text, and message a person you know? Ask them how they're doing. And when the person replies, you don't respond. Is it that, and if this is the case, is it that you actually read the message, but you forgot to respond? You read the message, you responded, but you forgot to hit send. You read the message and you were like, I don't know what to say to that. So you don't respond. Or did you just forget about the text message overall because you got distracted with other things? Is that something that you tend to do? And if you do, it's no judgment. It's just something I want you to think about, because we're looking at this within the context of the impact of going fast and breaking things. When we're going fast with technology, in terms of the human technology, are we breaking something? What is it that we're breaking? Have you had a conversation through Messenger or text and you asked the person, how are they doing? And you never got a response? Again, going fast. What are we breaking here? Well, I think that we are breaking connection. I think we are breaking connection, and we have to ask ourselves, what's the consequence of breaking connection? I'll let you answer that question for yourself, but I'm going to leave you with this. Your family, your friends, your coworkers, or whoever you're in connection with, are you willing to slow down and preserve your connections? Or do we just keep going fast and keep breaking those connections? Going fast and breaking things, that sounds so sexy and innovative. Yeah, when it comes to technology. But when it comes to us, when it comes to us as human beings, maybe it's not so smart. If you found this video to be helpful, insightful, please do share with someone that you want to stay in connection with and talk about how maybe you can slow down and stay in connection and not let this technology culture take over and break that connection. If you'd like to share some of your thoughts about what I've just shared, please do type in the comments. And I hope to be churning out some more video, staying in connection with you. Until then, I invite you to truly, truly stay connected to yourself and take care of you and those that you love.